Aside from the regular website maintenance that we went over in the first half of the kit, there isn't a whole lot of podcast-specific stuff to worry about. If you've been using the feed validator each time you make changes to your XML file, you'll know right away if anything is wrong. Every once in a while, you should download a copy of that file with cPanel, or just drag it out of the public HTML directory from FileZilla into your backup folder. This way you can easily restore it if you saved unwanted changes by mistake. You should also double check all of your MP3 links separately in a browser after uploading them to make sure that they're working. It's easy to put one in the wrong folder by mistake or make a typo in the file name. The feed validator won't tell you if the enclosure URL is a broken link, so make sure it's pointing to the right place by testing it quickly after you add each new item. If you have too many links that don't work, you'll lose listeners and might get removed from directories. Always confirm that they're active before sending out a ping and promoting the new episode. Another good habit to get into is to keep a copy of each episode's project file, or the highest quality recorded version that you have. Hang on to the master version of each show if you bumped it down to a lower bitrate MP3 for the podcast feed or a web page. You might want to burn it to a promo CD or USB and make it possible to switch older episodes to a higher bitrate at some point in the future when things evolve more. After you get listed in iTunes, spend some time experimenting with different variations of your summary and descriptions. You can change them anytime. Perform store searches for your most important keywords and try to figure out why certain podcasts have come up instead of yours by reading their summary. Keep in mind that ratings, reviews, and how many subscribers they have are also factored into that equation, but you'll rank higher if a certain word appears in the title, subtitle, and summary at the same time. A popular trick is to use a colon to add some extra relevant keywords to your titles in a way that makes sense visually, but be careful about overdoing it with too many. You could even include a couple of targeted search terms after your name for an extra boost. I've also discovered that another way to stand out in a long list of iTunes search results is by turning on the explicit tag even if it's not needed. That red box next to your episode might be the thing that catches somebody's eye while scrolling quickly through a big block of text, and gets them to pause long enough to become interested and click the preview. You'll probably always want to keep working on streamlining and improving your podcast description, artwork, and optimizing tags and keywords through trial and error. Your iTunes channel summary can fit up to 4,000 characters, so maybe after you get accepted, you'll want to start adding names of artists and record labels that you feature. Using fewer characters will help those words carry more weight, but I found that squeezing as many in as possible and keeping it maxed out as close to 4,000 as I can has helped me come up often in search results for those artists. That's a really powerful thing because even if shoppers weren't looking for a podcast episode, yours might be suggested to them because it contains an artist they like or search term that they're using. iTunes spends all day matching you up with people around the world who share the same musical tastes, so try to optimize everything as much as you can to help make that happen. One small thing that occurs twice a year is that the GMT plus or minus time zone correction you have in your publication and last build dates will change with daylight savings time. It's not a big deal, but when you move your clocks ahead in the spring and then backwards in the fall, remember to make sure that change is reflected in the time you're entering after the date for new items to keep it accurate. Also, at the beginning of January, you should update the copyright tag in your channel settings to show the new year. Finally, you'll definitely want to be subscribed to your own podcast so you can keep an eye on it, but subscribing to others that are related to yours will help iTunes start to make connections between them at the bottom of your listing. If enough of your fans like both, it could lead to your show being recommended on the page of those other podcasts by DJs and producers that you like.